Prime Minister Keir Starmer said, "I respect President Biden's decision."
Vice President Harris announced her intention to earn and win the Democratic presidential nomination after President Biden endorsed her following his decision to bow out of the 2024 presidential race.
"I am honored to have the president's endorsement, and my intention is to earn and win this nomination," she stated.
Russia reported scrambling fighter jets to intercept 2 U.S. military long-range bomber aircraft approaching the Russian border over the Barents Sea in the Arctic.
The crews of the Russian fighters identified the aerial target.
9 people were shot, 3 fatally, when multiple gunmen opened fire early Sunday at a party in Philadelphia, authorities said.
The mass shooting occurred around 2 a.m. on the 1200 block of North Alden Street in the Carroll Park neighborhood of West Philadelphia.
The opinions expressed on this program are those of the host or guest and should not be interpreted as statement of fact. Independent fact-checking and corrections are encouraged.
Can we get a cup of coffee in here, please?
Oh, you know what? I forgot to do.
Damn good coffee. And hot.
Hot.
My dog is your mind's best friend.
Wake up, America. You've got a dog that needs walking. That's right, sunshine. Just put on a big pot of strong coffee and get ready to type your little hate mail with your opinions about kumbaya and flat earth insanity. Stand-up comedy? You want stand-up comedy? Well, we've got sit-down comedy. It's time for Coffee with a Dog. You make me laugh.
Are you laughing yet? Oh, this thing must not be on. Well, doghouse. I'm here. I signed up a week ago. Is this open mic night? Feels like open mic night. Hi. I'm Matt. I'm a comedian. Why did the chicken cross the road? Good morning, folks. It's Tuesday, July 23rd, July 23rd, 2024, 23-24 or something. Anyway, it's rainy here, but upon us all, a little rain must fall. Rain is a good thing. Hopefully it rains Tuesday, Wednesday, maybe a little bit into Thursday, but Friday night I have an outdoor gig, so it can't be raining then. That's all I'm saying. I hope it's a beautiful day. Wherever you are, summer, it feels like it's on its way out. It feels like summer is more than halfway over now. I know it's not, unless you count the official start of Memorial Day, the unofficial start of Memorial Day. But it just feels like it's on its way out already. Just like Stephen Ortiz, just on its way out. Stephen's having some connectivity problems in the back. Yesterday, I don't know how many people actually watched the hearing, congressional hearing, with the director of the Secret Service, Kimberly Cheadle. Oh my God, this woman was unprepared, shamefully incompetent, no real answers about, the assassination attempt, or how a 20-year-old managed to get up on that roof and stay there, get himself into the position, have a detonator on him with a bomb in a car that was outside the perimeter that really didn't have any purpose because he could have exploded it at any time, but for who? It wouldn't have done anything. Didn't make any sense. She didn't have any answers. And both, listen, if you're looking for a silver lining here, both the Democrats and Republicans completely agreed on something, and that was the fact that she's a total incompetent administrator and should resign effective immediately. She's refusing to do that, and even though she acknowledges it was a complete failure, and she doesn't have any answers yesterday, 10 days after, 9 days? 9 days after today's 10 days, after the event, doesn't have any answers that can shed any light on how screwed up the entire thing was. But she's defiantly staying in that position. Now, I don't know, and I should know, who has the authority to fire her. If not Congress, then maybe the president. But clearly, she doesn't have the ability to get to the bottom of it or be honest with the American people and Congress about what she knows. And listen, nobody was asking her to give up tactical secrets or how they do business or how they secure any of that kind of stuff. They want to know what happened. How did you fuck up so bad? And she couldn't tell them, but she still got a job. I guarantee you, if you fucked up that big at your job, you'd be unemployed today. They wouldn't have to, oh, please resign. I'm not going to resign. Well, you're fucking fired. How about that? Get out. Anyway, that's where we are. Today, we have comedian Abhi Pamnani. Easy for you to say. Not so easy for me. I'm going to try that one more time. Abhi Pamnani, a Toronto-based stand-up comedian. And then we have Renita is back. Renita, it's like difficult name day for me. That's what it is. Renita Malhotra. She's been with us before. She has a book. I told her to come back when the book was going to be available, and the book is going to be available today. A historical fiction book called Vermilion Harvest. Playtime at the Bach. It's going to be one of those days where I can't say a word because everything is in, like, I want to say German because that's, but it's not German. But German is the most ridiculous. Anyway, I think I really need to. I'm sticking with one sponsor that actually chips in a dime every once in a while, and that is Daily High Club. So please buy a bong, buy a water pipe, get stoned. You need to get stoned more often. That's what I'm telling you. And while you're doing that, I'm going to see if I could hook up Instagram because I forgot to this morning.
With humble East Coast beginnings in 2015, Daily High Club is the premier destination for glass water pipes, vaporizers, and consumption accessories. If you're looking to elevate your smoking game to the next level, you're in the right place. With over 1 million top-quality smoking products sold, and with a growing base of over 10,000 monthly subscribers worldwide, we deliver the ultimate smoking experience. But Daily High Club is not just a retailer, we're lovers of the smoking scene ourselves, working with giants like Tommy Chong, Snoop Dogg, Chanel West Coast, and more. Ready to join the Daily High Club? Let our experts curate your collection with our awesome El Primo monthly subscription box, or grab one of our fun and unique pieces from our smoke shop. Click the link in the description below this video to get this party started now.
Now, get the party started now. Well, I don't have Steven in these pictures yet because Steven he's kind of like coming and going and coming. Anyway, good morning, Mr. T.D. Jakes, and your friend over there, Mr. Foot to the Camera.
Morning.
Good morning, America. Are you tired of all
you're
of the...
incompetent. You're fired. Resign immediately. I'm sorry. I'm still...
Good morning, America. Are you tired of all of the racial slurs that are being hurled at people for no good reason? You're not?
No.
Then you'll love the new Coffee with the Dog merchandise. We use all of the slurs. We use words like And
well, that's cool.
And
he's got his own little bleepy blopper. Look at that.
And the big one.
Oh.
So, minddogtv.com. Enjoy the suffering.
Wow. Hey, look, Evil Ian is back. He woke up.
You let him back
Ian,
in.
we missed you yesterday, Ian. We actually talked about you while you weren't here. GD was saying some awful things about you. I don't remember what they were, but they were awful.
I was saying that Matt had no good reason to block you again.
Yeah, no, I listen. Things happen. People get blocked by mistake, especially when I'm in a fit of rage at like a commenter in the chat room, and he happens to be right next to him. Shit happens. But did you guys didn't catch any of those dopey hearings? That hearing yesterday?
No, I didn't.
Parts, just parts of it.
It is good to see that the Democrats and Republicans can agree on something.
Yeah, I felt bad for her. I really felt bad for her.
I didn't,
because
I felt bad that whoever hired her and promoted her to that position couldn't see what an incompetent fool she is. But her defiance. Fuck that. Feeling bad for her. She's defiant. She should say, "Yeah, I fucking need to resign. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know how to do this job. I didn't even. I just wrote shit on the application. I don't know how I got this job." That's what she should have said. I'm an idiot. You're right. I'm out. Can I get some?
Well, my wife did point out one of her quotes where I think she said this was the most egregious failure. Something like that in weeks. I think I don't know. I think
she said since the Reagan thing, and that's you know what? No, the Secret Service, they're no good. They're not good. I could hire a bunch of mafia thugs in Brooklyn and get the job done better. It's true. I mean, if you look at their track record.
I'll tell you, look at back in the day. This is back in my day, not y'all's day. Back in my day, Nation of Islam was like the top security team being used by prominent African Americans. They were using, if you were a prominent black, you were using Nation of Islam, and they did not fuck around.
Right.
And they didn't lose. And just like the Tuskegee Airmen, they didn't lose any bombers during their term.
You want to take a risk on this? See, I take a risk on him, and that's what we don't need another black guy. Oh, there he is.
Because he's
good morning, Stephen.
Good morning.
You got no sound. No, it's delayed. But you're like a Japanese remake of Godzilla, or wait, no, the original Godzilla. I'm sorry, Japanese original make of Godzilla. That's right. So I'm working on, and now maybe this is stepping on Ron Kane's toes a little bit, but we've already seen them. They're already too high to step on. Working on a video about remake. All right, you're out of here. Come back when you're connected. On remakes, the greatest remakes, and the ones that actually work. But researching it, there's so many remakes I didn't even realize that they put out there. Hollywood has probably put out, no kidding, 450 remakes in the last 20 years of movies that had already been made before. And so it's hard to really do a short video on whether but they mentioned some of the ones that are most successful. You know which ones are the most successful according to the research I've done?
Heaven Can Wait.
That's not even on the list. No, most successful is Jesus. I'm forgetting now. Oh, Jungle Book.
Now, Twisters.
The Jungle Book.
Wow.
That makes sense. They've made like a shit ton of those.
Almost $1 billion in box office. $967 million in box office. Second is, they count A Star Is Born because there have been 4 remakes. This movie has been made 4 times, and they add them all together, all the 3 remakes together, and come up with a huge number. and last is a third on because I didn't go beyond 3 in the most successful is Ocean's 11. But I think this Twister thing that we talked about yesterday, that's got a good chance if it has some sustainability to get up there on that list because it did 123 in the first weekend, right? So
yeah, it was crazy numbers. So we'll see. I mean, Wolverine and Deadpool are opening this week, but I think Twister's got pretty good word of mouth on it, and I think people want to see a big action movie in the theater as well.
So that's 3 remakes in 1 week. I mean, well, 2 weeks.
Well, the Deadpool's not a remake.
That's just a sequel. That's just a sequel.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. So yeah, it's just an eye opener to see that the Jungle Book. I didn't see any of the Jungle Book. I wasn't really. I know we know I'm culturally unhip. You don't have to rub it in.
Yeah, the first couple they had to read. They had to forget the first couple because they're kind of racist. I think. So,
look at this kid with his bag.
You mean the Disney one? The Disney one was racist because that was like my favorite with Baloo and
yeah, I think the original one maybe.
Yeah. John Favreau. How do you pronounce his name? I can't pronounce any name today. He's the director of the remake that came out in 2016. But lots of CGI and all that kind of stuff. That I think that was the star of the movie.
What about Song of the South?
Well,
was that remake?
Isn't that a remake of Gone with the Wind? No. Birth of a Nation. Isn't that a remake of Birth of a Nation?
Yeah.
I don't.
Song of the South is a racist Disney movie that Disney has in their vaults. They won't put it out, but if you go down south, you can get bootleg DVDs of it because they love it so much.
Wow, that's interesting.
Yes.
So I'm surprised it's not on YouTube though, or somewhere like.
Well, YouTube probably will ban it. If you put it up on YouTube, it'll probably get banned right away.
Rumble will love it. Put it on Rumble.
Disney has the pockets and the lawyers to have anything removed from the internet. They deem
the internet from the fucking planet.
Yeah,
it was really hard to listen. I've seen it. I had to watch it when I did a Disney podcast a couple years ago, and it took about 5 hours to find a copy that was watchable.
I'm surprised Grandpa didn't have one.
He was never a Disney guy, although he loved Walt, being all anti-Semitic and stuff. Not a big movie watcher.
Yeah. I think I got a hole in my underwear. My one nut is coming out.
Me too.
Thanks for sharing.
Your right one or your left one?
That's my right one.
All right, we're matching set. My left one.
You mean the correct one?
I'll say jokes on you guys. Both of my balls are out, but okay.
Are you guys ready for to meet our first guest today?
Sure.
Now, I just need names that are like Bob Smith, something that easy that I could. And I know I'm being a bit of a racist bigot, whatever. I have difficulty with names that are.
Actually, Matt, his name actually translates to Bob Smith in English.
Okay.
That is
well,
the
Bob
English
Smith is
translation.
a Toronto-based stand-up comedian and co-producer of Toronto's newest comedy show. His name, Bob Smith, actually the translation is Abhi Pamnani. I hope I'm saying that right because it really sucks if I'm not saying that right.
Well,
but
at least you didn't pronounce it like the bread. At least you didn't call him.
You nailed it. You actually nailed it. And he's right. There's so many people who've called it panini. And some people call it panani, which I actually prefer, to be honest with you. It's the closest I've ever gotten to a vagina, so,
Oh, well. Thanks for getting up and being here. I don't mean any disrespect by the name.
No, sir, you were good. You were actually good. That's perfect.
I just suck with pronunciation. My next guest in the next hour is even though I've had her on before, I'm going to fuck up her name. I know I am. And so, you know what? It's one of those days. But thanks for being here. Toronto.
Yeah.
Now, I mispronounced that as Toronto, but that's I can't help myself. That's a Long Island thing. Toronto. comedy scene up there, thriving comedy scene. Yes.
Yep, absolutely. Definitely not as big as you guys, in New York and everywhere else, but really, really good in Canada for sure. For
No,
sure, one of the better scenes.
I'm seeing a lot because now that the world has become everybody's accessible through the internet. We see reels from everybody. Got a lot of Canadian comics, but a lot of them are not, for some reason, coming across the border to work here. I think there's probably like some visa stuff, or I don't know,
Yeah,
taxation stuff. But it's a shame that, because there is obviously 340 million people. There's a huge comedy audience down here that doesn't know about so many really, really good comics up there. Have you thought about or dealing with the challenges of coming into the States to work?
I mean, I was in New York closer to Easter just to visit and see see what the scene's like. So it's a lot of fun. But you're right, like there's a lot of the whole visa issue and stuff. It's harder to get in as a legal immigrant than it is as an illegal one. So
fucking weird, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, with if I feel like comics who've established themselves well enough in the Toronto or the Canada scene, who've done the new faces, who've done, got a couple credits, who've opened for some of the bigger names, they don't have as much of a issue moving in now. Like we just sent over Jarrett Campbell and Danny Martinello, and they're two of the best that Canada has to offer.
You make them sound like products. We just sent over.
we just shipped them over. We just shipped them over.
Yes, FedEx.
You can find them. Yeah.
I never thought of comedians as an import-export product, but there you go.
But see, that's also how we're like with the whole social media stuff now. It's kind of how comedians have become. We're products essentially. We're selling you our kind of humor and hoping to find an audience and get passed by people. But they're awesome. They're like killing it out there in New York right now. Then you got Steph Tolev, who opened for Bill Burr, and she's been in New York for a long time.
Wow,
and she's
that's kind of I think opening for Burr would be a very nerve-wracking thing, because he's not generally nice to people. And I mean, I would be a little intimidated by. Do I say hello to him? Do I even acknowledge him, or just I act like I'm hired help here and just like politely keep my eyes down and walk past him? I don't know.
Have you had a run-in with him, like at a festival or something?
No, but I have seen him. Like Theo Von had him on his podcast and started to ask basic questions, and he started to humiliate, totally undressed him. And like made him feel like why am I even on your dopey little pod? And he was serious. It wasn't a joke. It wasn't a bit. He was just abusing him like really bad. And I've seen him do that to other people too. You ask him the wrong questions to say the wrong thing, and all of a sudden he becomes nasty Bill Burr.
I have a friend that was working at Nick's Comedy Stop. This is probably about 2 years ago. This is when he was getting ready to do the Red Sox stadium.
Red Rocks.
Oh, okay.
Oh no, Red Sox.
Yeah,
Red Rocks and Red Sox.
Red Sox. And Bill came to Nick's Comedy Stop and bumped him because he needed to run material. Wow. And he was actually he was nice about it, though. He told me he's like, Bill wasn't a dick about it or anything like that.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm gonna be very nice and bump you.
It's the club. I mean, it's the club's choice. They do.
I know. Yeah, and who wouldn't? On the club's perspective, I mean, who wouldn't?
Did Bill Burr like make it up to him by like saying, "I'll tell you what, I'll give you 20 minutes on one of my shows. I'll give you 10 minutes."
Nope.
Nope. Like, I'm gonna bump you tonight. What? How many minutes are you getting? 7. I'll tell you what. I'll give you 7 minutes on my show. All right? How's that?
You know what?
Are we good? Are we good?
To be fair,
I'll take that.
Bill Burr could have actually just at least mentioned him on his Monday morning little rant thing there, or something like that. You know what? If you're gonna do that to a guy, make it up to him in some way. And you know what? For a working comic to be mentioned on Bill Burr's little podcast there, that's a nice little bump. And I think him to do and say, I just a shout out to whatever the guy's name was, and whatever.
Yeah.
I'm not
Well,
condoning.
now you know why I don't know who Bill Burr is, because I don't associate myself with indecent, inhumane people. I like humane people. That's why I am so successful at what I do.
But you're friends with Matt.
I wouldn't characterize Bill as inhumane. I'm just sometimes he can be a little cranky, and if you get on his bad side, he will show it to you.
I don't want to see his bad side. I don't even want to see his CK. Look, what's wrong with comedians and showing us all their bad stuff? I don't need to know. What's his name? CK Lewis CK. I can't think of his name. I know it's one of those guys. Never mind. I just don't get it. I don't get it.
He didn't remember he was.
Are you done now?
Publix.
Are you done? Can we continue the program?
No. My job is to drive it into the wall.
I obviously.
This is a Tuesday morning podcast with JD Fenderson.
I'm not condoning breaking the law here, but it seems like it's pretty easy. You said you came to New York. There's like on a holiday or a vacation or whatever. It seems that's pretty easy to do, and considering that most of like the spots you're just dropping in on, you're not going to get paid anyway. It seems like pretty easy to plan a workout tour, not tour, but a workout visit to New York and get some work in and get some exposure without breaking any laws. Yes or
yeah, no? I mean, you could go ahead and do mics, right?
Yeah.
Like you can go to mics, not get paid for it and stuff. I know people who've or at least I've heard stories of people who've done stuff and then they got caught and they were like, oh, but we were doing mics, but they were like, your freaking face is on the poster of this festival, dude. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I guess you could go do mics and stuff as long as you're not there to like constantly be there, spending more time there than you are in Canada. You should be probably fine.
Right.
Just don't get paid for your work. That's really it.
Yeah,
well, that's easy in comedy. That's
really it. Just
super easy.
Really...
Oh yeah.
Listen, it's easy in music as well. Even when you're getting, maybe I shouldn't say that. Even when you're getting paid to not get paid officially. I saw somebody on like Facebook asking somebody else, "Is this job off the books?" I was like, they're not going to say that online. You're not going to say, yeah, it's cash off the books. I mean, putting it.
No.
Canada, I have somebody who I guess he considers himself a friend of mine. I don't really know him. He's a drummer friend in Canada. But
hey, yeah, maybe Bill Burr thinks you're a friend too.
He's dead.
Neil Peart's dead?
Yeah.
What?
Twice
How
over.
did that happen?
You can smell it in here.
Yeah. Yes. I thought that was you with the feet up on the camera, but that's a whole other smell. He basically was talking politics, and I don't want to drag you into the whole political thing, but
let's go into it.
He's talking about U.S. politics, how he finds it amusing, and he said, my friends get caught up in it. As Canadians, we get caught up in U.S. politics all the time, and it doesn't affect us. And I was like, that's not true. United States politics, the U.S. politics, it affects the whole world, whether in a big way or a small way, no matter where you are. But being the neighbor right up on top, it definitely affects you. GD was quick to point out, how do you think you got black people in Canada? They didn't, there was no slave trade there. They were running from here. So do you follow U.S. politics, and do you get caught up in it?
And do you have any slaves? And do you have any slaves? No.
I mean, GD, I'm like a tone lighter than you are, so but I follow it for the bits. Like, it's always fun to make fun of anybody, like these guys, like Biden, Trump, doesn't matter. So I'll follow it for that. But essentially, I don't really, I don't care. Like, heck, we don't care about Canadian politics in Canada. we just go with it, and it's over and all. This is my overall view in politics. It's all fucking shit. Let me be honest. Like it doesn't matter who we vote in. It's not going to change. I don't know. Is it going to change your day to day? I've never felt it change my day to day, like regardless of where I've been, But I do think like it's just fun to see it unravel for sure. Like it's weird. It's just who are we trying to hire here, guys? Like, come on.
We could on the color thing. We could do a gradient thing, a gradient scale with the 5 of us that we have now. It's like dark to light,
like an ad for sunscreen.
Yeah, but
for tanning salt.
So, but just on the Canadian stuff now, it's very confusing to where Canada is right now. Because we have people like Rogan calling it a communist, chaotic, just dysfunctional place, and then we have Rumble, which is based in Canada, where we are, which is extreme. It's like the right wing. It's like Trumpism of streaming media. So I'm confused. Is extreme left or right as it seemed, or people there? The examples that we see make it seem more extreme left and right than it is.
Yeah, I think it's more of the latter. Like I will say this, Toronto definitely feels a little more left leaning. But I think the reason the majority of the people who are like complaining and are like fed up with the stuff, they're both from the left and the right. Like even the left does not want Justin Trudeau around, you know what I mean? Like at least that's the impression that I get, and that's primarily because shit's not affordable anymore, right? Like the rent's high, groceries are high, and like I feel like that's the thing, right? Once it comes down to like your basic necessities, it doesn't really matter if you're left or right. If you can't really afford stuff and you can't really live at a certain level, then whoever's in power is like not good for the country in general, right? Like. So you could have your views on like gender, race, all of that stuff, but then if I can't buy apples at a reasonable price, then I got a problem.
Right.
Now, just out of curiosity, as a comedian, would you be buying apples anyway, or are you just saying drugs?
I mean, if right now, LSD is cheaper than apples. I can say that.
Oh, really?
I think so.
I'll see you guys later. I'm packing my bags. I'm moving up. I'm going up there.
Like the doctor says, a hit a day keeps the doctor away.
Oh yeah.
No,
I mean,
it's just that he doesn't look like a doctor. He looks more like a clown.
I have a degree.
Yeah. My wife is saving apple seeds, and I'm like, are you going to grow an apple tree? Because by the time that tree comes up and bears fruit, we'll be long dead. What's the point of saving apple seeds? I don't get that. But are you a full-time comedian? Are you able to support yourself with completely with your comedy?
Yeah, because I got a wife, so there you go. Who makes money?
And a tent?
Yeah, no, not where I can still pay rent. She can. I stay here in my corner, and that's my tent. But no. So I am full time right now, not by choice. Like I lost my job a little while ago, but luckily, like I said, honestly, thanks to my wife, it's easy to sort of get by doing comedy.
Now,
and
when you lost your job, did you work for Frito-Lay's also?
Frito-Lay's? No, did they get fired?
No, he's making fun of Ron because Ron had to go to a hearing where he confessed to being completely incompetent, and they told him to resign effective immediately, and he caved.
Yeah, it's basically Ron's fault that bags of chips are only half filled.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Hey, Ron, you want to run for the next Canadian Prime Minister?
Yeah, why not? I got an open calendar. Why not?
There we go. But yeah, no. Right now, I'm full time. I guess if that's what you want to call it. I'm probably gonna try and get a day job, and because it helps really. Having a day job really helps with the comedy stuff. Because like you can get 100%.
It gives you content, right? It gives you ideas and experience to create comedy off of,
and money to travel.
Yeah, exactly.
And you meet new people who might be interested in coming to see you.
Yeah, 100%.
That's exactly the reason I'm going back to work is for money.
For me, it's always been an energy burner. If I have to work a full-time job, because it might be a little bit different in my case, because any place I would have to work, if I'm not working from remotely, everything is like an insane commute. So I was spending 4 hours a day in the car the last time I had a regular job. And on top of working 50, 60 hours a week, which because I'm insane like that, it just was just too. I have no energy left to be creative at all at the end of the day.
Well,
So
man, that's your fault. That's your fault because you actually have marketable skills and actual training. And so the people that would hire you would be in big buildings that would be like further away from where you are. I have like no marketable skills. So I actually could find a job like 7 minutes from my house, you know, up until I lost my job at Frito-Lay's.
You guys keep talking about lost. I don't know if it's lost. The job's still there. You know where to find it.
Yeah, I know exactly where the job is. They just don't want me to do it anymore.
Yeah.
I mean,
so
GD, has anyone ever told you look like Heimdall from Thor?
That's a new one.
I used to get Predator.
Oh, Jesus.
Well, we know you're a predator, but go on.
I get Predator, and I get there's a guy named Glenn in The Walking Dead or something.
Okay, I have no idea. But
I don't know either. But
I saw you, and I'm like, that guy's Idris Elba's brother from Thor. He is. Yeah, I'm like, you could get a job, dude. You could be a model or something. Like, what are you doing here?
No, people have said that, and then they said in for a close up, and they're like, oh shit, never mind.
Yeah.
It's true. We had to send him an older webcam just so we couldn't see him in 4K. Oh God.
Oh, there we go. Look at that.
In case anybody needed to regurgitate.
My eyes.
That's
my
my
eyes.
in a little square. If anybody sees me full face, they're like, ah, shit, damn it.
GD is a 480p kind of guy. You know, we don't need him in high def.
No. I took a snapshot of that. I'm gonna jerk off to it later.
Nice. Video where it didn't happen. Go on.
In the reverse of what we're talking about, you coming down here to work, there are Americans can find a pretty easy time of going up there to work.
Absolutely.
Any resentment towards that, or you just want to kill them? Like I know these guys have all been there, all been to Toronto, and like taking big paychecks up there. You want to kill them?
No, man. I'm actually really happy they do. I'll tell you this. I got very lucky this year. Josh Johnson from The Daily Show.
Love him. He's one of my favorites. Yeah. He hates him. He's very racist, and he doesn't like black people to begin with.
I don't know who he is. I honestly don't know who he is. Is that?
Oh yeah,
Daily Show. Josh Johnson.
Josh Johnson.
Daily Show.
Yeah.
You know him. You told me you hated him last time we talked about him on the program.
And is that the guy with the braids?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I don't like him.
Why is that?
I don't think he's funny.
Because he's black. He doesn't like black people. He's very racist. Don't let the skin tone fool you. He doesn't.
I do not mind black people if as long as they're not funnier than me. I'm okay with that.
Oh.
But if they're black and they're funnier than me, then I have a problem.
Well, I'll say this. He so last year I like coincidentally ran into him because the show I was supposed to do got canceled, and I just ran into him in the green room, and I was just like, "Hey, can I do a little guesty for you?" And he was kind enough to say yes.
Wow.
And then it was pretty much the same this year, but like he came in, did 6 shows, all sold out, and yeah, maybe he's not GD's humor, but the guy fucking murdered, dude, like back and like just killed it. And then he was so down to earth and so humble, and he was like, "Hey, if you want to do a guest spot again, yeah, sure." So it was great.
To look behind the curtains, I really don't hate him because I don't know him. So
but that's yeah. No, I mean,
you just took one look at him and saw his skin color and said, "I don't like that guy," which we basically called that.
That's not hatred. That's not hatred. That's racism. That's not the same thing. You can be a racist and not hate someone. All right. I'm pretty sure that Trump loves his wife in some way, but he's a racist. That's why he got that wife.
I did the same thing. I married a Puerto Rican for the same reason. I was like, shit, being a white guy is not cool. I should probably plan ahead just in case.
Dude, it's the same thing with my wife. She's white, I'm brown. We've covered all our bases here. At least we think so.
Now, in my case, I have a white wife, but mine is because of reparations. How did you get yours?
This is easy. So
mail order bride.
This is I've been asked by brown guys to do seminars on how to get a white wife. You know, they love that stuff. Yeah. No, so I've
been trying to get rid of one. So
no, I've been telling this to people all the time. I'm like, hey man, when I came to Canada, I was an international student. She's Eastern European, so she was probably a refugee, right? We met at the Peace Bridge. We sponsored each other's papers, and that's that's how I got her. No, I'm kidding, man. She was. We met on Hinge, and it was a lot of. We met during the pandemic, actually, and then 2-3 years later, here we are.
I did the exact same thing.
It's difficult being a young person in the age of the pandemic. I mean, you met her during the pandemic. I mean, I gotta think the first intimate moment had to be like, it's a little scary. Listen, when I grew up, there was no such thing as AIDS, herpes, and none of that stuff. We had two venereal diseases, and you could get a shot for them and get rid of them easy.
Syphilis and gonorrhea.
It was pretty carefree time. There was no chlamydia, none of those. We've got like advanced hidden like cooties now. So being a young person, it's more complicated. This whole dating and sex.
I mean, it depends, right? Like, as far as I know, everybody was fucking during the pandemic. Like, we were fucking dying. Yeah, literally. Nobody wanted to. We do video dates, but then from there on, it would be like, you're fucking.
Yeah.
You know, I think the thing is, people regretted a lot of my friends who I know. They were like, "Yo, I can't believe I did that," and I'm like, I can't believe.
So, do you have any pandemic babies?
Oh, we got a dog. And she, I got a white wife, so she calls it a baby. You know what I mean? Like,
yes. So, if the two of y'all have a kid, are you going to raise the kid white or brown?
Man, I fucking hope we raise it white. I really hope it's white. I want my kid to be at the next trucker convoy. That's what.
Well, you call yourself a brown guy, but in my neighborhood, you're just a guy. I mean,
free guy, just a guy.
Just a guy. I mean, we have all shades of people. As long as you're not black, you're cool in my neighborhood. Once you come down here looking like GD, the baseball bats come out. We're going to be chasing you down the block. But so
I mean, you got a very Mahatma Gandhi look going on for yourself as well.
Mahatma Nazi.
That's probably the funniest thing you've ever said, Matt. We're going to be that. No.
Put a B, yeah.
I just put a B, yeah.
Yep, got it.
But yeah, I mean, the whole racial thing. I don't know. Maybe it's different in Canada. I don't know. I just don't know.
I mean, yeah. I've personally never felt like a difference about like. In fact, if anything, the one time I got racially like abused, kind of like borderline, was by a black guy. It was outside of bloody Starbucks. I'm like, nothing about this situation makes sense. This guy's outside of Starbucks. And he's like, "What are you looking at, you alien-looking motherfucker?" Ooh. And I'm like, "I'm sorry, what?"
See, that's what happens when people watch science fiction and they make the aliens look human and they don't know the difference.
Even looks the most alien out of anybody here with that little green sign that keeps floating through his head.
Yeah. No, I surprised him though. I did a gay impression. I was like, "Are you saying I'm like out of this world?" And then that guy fucking back off, dude. I've noticed this. Racists like just get really scared of gay people. I don't know what it is.
Because they think it's contagious. They think it's contagious.
It's true. The last time I was cornered by a racist guy, I just took my dick out and he ran. So
yeah, I have no idea what it
and did he get out a magnifying glass to see it, or?
Wow, jeez, Matt, it was a microscope, Nick. Jeez.
All right. Or you say, "Oh, look at that! That's cute. Do they come in large?"
Hey, you know what? That's funny. But Matt has a thunder thimble himself, so I don't want to hear it.
Now, business of comedy up there. Do you? Is it like I'm assuming you represent yourself and like have to really hustle to get opportunities like that, right?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, for sure. I mean, I had just started producing a show last year, and honestly, the only reason I did it was to like do more spots and like get more and work with comics really who I aspire to be like and who I think are funnier than me, and be able to put them on my show and get some exposure, build a nice circle, that kind of stuff. What I will say though is like, if you can, from what I've seen, if you can build your own audience, then you're really ahead of the game. Like the earlier, the sooner you can do that, the more money you can like put in your pocket, and also get like passed at any club or stuff that you're seeing, because all the clubs now are, even the festival, like one of my friends who was on JFL, like New Faces last year, he was told that they're really focusing on this whole social media stuff, and that's really where the game is now from a business point of view. Just for Laughs got canceled. Like, whoever thought like the biggest festival is going to get canceled? And then if you look at the lineup and then they came back this year with like a smaller scale show. I think it's called Comedy Ha Festival, and it's one of those things. And even the 4 or 5 people they have there are all people who have their own audiences and who are already like super established at a local level. 100K followers and all that stuff at least. So these are people who are bringing the business to the so-called gatekeepers. So like, if you can build your own audience, that's where it really is now. Like, it's not.
The whole social media stuff is a lie. Anyway, I mean, first of all, social media is a worldwide thing. So, and I know that for my music, I've had lots of fans who are in Europe, in Asia, in South America, in South Africa, in Australia. So seeing that number, those people aren't coming to your show. Just because you have a huge number of followers doesn't equate to having a local following. And I don't know what how long it's going to take for club owners, venue owners, whatever, to understand that just 100,000 followers doesn't mean you're going to have a packed room. You could have absolutely nobody show up in your room, and they don't get that.
So that's sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, you go ahead. You were answering the boss's question.
No, I was just saying that like he's right on that. There's definitely a nuanced point there where like, can your followers be converted to ticket buyers? And there's comics who've done that successfully. I think Che Durena. I don't know if you guys have heard of him. He's new to US, but he's like already at high levels, past the improv and all that stuff. And he moves tickets, and he built it from his following and stuff. And then there's guys who have massive following, but not necessarily, like, again, does not show up in the ticket sales and stuff. So there's definitely nuance there. Like, are your people who are watching your stuff watching it for your comedy, or are they watching it for something else that you do, and then you just have a following?
Right. I'm just looking over on Governors. The first time I've actually checked Governors while we were live. Those people over there, I just want to say, we cannot see your chat comments over here, and we won't be able to add you to the conversation. So I don't want you to bounce off Governors. I'm just telling you the reason why we're not responding to all those comments over there. So sorry about that.
I have a question real quick. In the US, we have a couple of phrases that are like really overused in comedy. Like, people say that, like, well, fuck them kids, and there's like 100 variations of that, or bitches be like, and So do you have those in Canada? Are they separate from ours, or do you have the same ones? Or do you have your own different ones that are overused?
No, I can answer that. They're all the same except they go A afterwards. Bitches be like A.
Pretty much.
Fuck them kids,
I don't know if we have. I don't know if we have those phrases particularly, but I have seen like. There's always going to be like a part where like shit becomes hacky, like making a Justin Trudeau joke. If it's got nothing new and just talking about blackface or something, that could be overused. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And this thing, you know what I mean, is like, is is used so much. Everybody's Bill Burr now. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's brutal.
Well, here this is how it sounds in America. Know what I mean? Know what I mean?
There we go.
You're a hater, you know what I mean?
That's how it sounds in your
That might just be Staten Island. That just might be Staten Island.
Yeah.
But no, I haven't heard anything of that sort. But it's kind of the same in like you go to any comedy scene. If you go to Detroit, like Windsor and Detroit, you'll see a lot of that crossover. Like bitches be like, that shit crosses over if you're close to a border city.
Yeah.
Are there big cultural differences? Now, I should know this. I've been to Toronto many times. I've never been to Montreal. But big cultural differences as far I know the Canadian stuff, the French stuff in Montreal is definitely a bigger cultural influence over there. But comedy-wise, for the business of comedy, it seems like Montreal is, I don't know, more conducive to like big festivals breaking through there than Toronto. I mean, we hear about the Montreal Comedy Festival all the time, and people who made a name for themselves there. Is there a big difference between Toronto and Montreal as far as the comedy business?
The scenes are different in the sense that Montreal is a smaller, like the local scene is smaller, but it's more tight knit. Like it's got more of a community vibe. Toronto is a bigger scene, and you can be in different sorts of groups and go around. But I think the bigger difference is the one difference that I noticed between the U.S. or like New York versus Toronto is that even at an open, we have way better open mics than you guys. Like I gotta tell you.
In what way?
Because we have real audiences at our open mics, and they're free to do. Like you don't have to pay $5 to get on stage. They're free to do, and there's actual audience, and it's a great time overall. So the open mic's actually useful. And the other is that the one thing I do appreciate, at least about New York comics, is every bit has a really, really strong point of view. Like you can see it even at the open mic level. They don't mind bombing. They want to come there with a bit that is very well thought out, whereas in Toronto, you'll see a mix. You'll see that, but then you'll also see a lot of absurd comics. Like they rely on absurdity and exaggeration. And I think that was one of the big differences that I could spot. Like, and I like that thing about New York, like having a bit that is so strong with your point of view and has an angle and has like all these comedy elements in it, whereas in Toronto you'll have like a whole bunch of comics who are excellent at it, but it's just a different style of comedy where it's exaggerated and it's a lot of throwaway lines and act outs and that kind of stuff.
Why is
just as a U.S. citizen, just as a U.S. citizen and a person who practices comedy in their spare time, I do not like the idea that New York and California represents the comedy scene in this country.
Okay.
I find it offensive. I don't think they represent. I think
offensive.
Yes, I think that they get too much.
We don't want to offend them.
Or I mean, I understand that they can quote make or break you, but the best comics are not coming from those two places. That's just where the recognition is.
What do you so then I guess someone like me or someone who does not know much about other scenes in I heard Texas is great now, like Austin is another new scene popping off. But what would you say is something that people should know more about?
Indiana. I'm just teasing. That's where Steven is. They have like one open mic they have one open mic per 400,000 people, and
yeah, roughly it's roughly that.
It's just, no,
I would say Boston. Boston is known for exporting a lot of great comedians. But you know what? I don't think where you come from matters that much. I don't get the idea because even those people when GD says good comics are coming from all over. Yeah, they are coming from all over, but they're landing in New York or LA or Austin in some of and that's where they become known. And those are the places really, for the most part, those are the only places where you can really, really work your craft on a consistent basis. Like CK, who when he first started here, he was doing 8 shows. He would do 8 different clubs in a night on a motorbike, like do spots, and you don't get that opportunity in East Bumfuck, Illinois, or whatever. You just don't get that chance to kind of really work on your craft consistently and hard like that. So that's you know.
Yeah, like what I loved about New York was, sure, there are mics and stuff, but like you can get on stage like 6-7 times in a night, and that there's value to that for sure, you know. But then there's also the fact, like, if you're not really working on changing the bit from mic to mic or like tweaking it, and if you're, I guess, if there's not even like some level of difference, because it's the same comics hopping from one place to another, then there's like, oh, maybe this is not as valuable. So I can imagine, like, if you're at a level where you can get booked in New York and then you're doing 5 to 6 clubs a night, then that is invaluable, right? Because now you have different audiences to test it in front of and all that kind of stuff. But that's just
to just what you're just saying. Like when I first started comedy and I was doing, I might do like 3 or 4 mics in. Maybe 4 mics in a week, maybe 5. I very seldom did 2 in a night because I have a tendency to stick around to the very end to show respect to the other comics. That also means when I'm done, I'm not going to another place, but I'm going to pay my respects to those comics.
Yeah,
but
fair enough.
My wife would be with me in the beginning, and after a few months, she stopped going because she goes, "I'm hearing these same old comics, and I know their material as well as they do."
Yep.
You know, and matter of fact, some cases better. You know, so, and she stopped going. Now I was changing my routine constantly. So she wasn't bored with me as a comedian. She was bored with me as a husband, but that's totally different. And that should be on a different podcast to talk about that.
Right. No, when she needs a good laugh, I hear she goes to Ron's shows.
Yes, when my wife needs a good laugh, she checks out the Friday night stand up at Fratelli's.
Of course.
Yeah.
Ron's putting in helium in his Lay's bags. He's like, "Here, you want free bag of chips?" Just
that idea about being respectful to the other comics and that's a very noble idea, but it's a
gets me nowhere.
Fuck them. That's all I have. Fuck them. It's about me making a life for myself. Because I remember those days in music when you got to stick around. Fuck them. I'm going to another gig. You know what? I got my own life to worry about. Nobility won't put food on.
I just feel weird or bad because quite often the open mics, when I go to open mics, there'd be like 15 comics. They would put me up early to make sure that audience stayed for they would try to pace it out so like we want people to make it worth their while, so they put me up like in the 5 or 6 spot to make it so that people would stick around. If I left, not that the people were there to see me, but the audiences start to leave and the comedians start to leave. They leave like they hit and go, and so then if you're the 14th or 15th comic to go up, you have like 2 people that you're performing for. And if you're a lesser known comic, then you're always at the bottom, which means you're never going to have an audience. So I try to stick around for those guys so that at least they have an audience. And
again, fuck them.
There's also this is my take on it. If I have nothing going on that night, then I'll stick around. If it's past a certain time, because I need to sleep, then I'm not going to stick around. Like I'll stick around till because that's another thing, right? Like you gotta you got to focus on your health and stuff to like have some level of longevity in the game.
Yeah.
And then the other thing is if you do have like different spots at night that you could do, maybe a book show or a mic or close by, then you can always like come back, or just go and do it. Because at the end of the day, I feel every comedian any comedian in that room, if given the opportunity, would choose the spot over, so not because they're dicks to the room, but just because you want to get your reps in. And then the other thing is, sometimes you'll see, like I see this all the time, there's comedians who'll stick around for the idea of like sticking around, but then they're on their phone, like the lights on in the back, or they're chatting with their buddies.
Yeah, that's not me. I'm engaged. I'm like,
So that's really good, because there's very few people who do that. But like, and then there's also the part where sometimes when you start off, there's value in that performing for two people. Yeah, because like you'll get on stage, and even if you get a chuckle out of them, then that bit it's just part of the game, right? Like, people have done it for 3 people or less.
I
think
I agree, and I agree and disagree with you. I think if you're in a big city, you should probably be going to mic after mic, keep it moving, because it's different. But like in an area that we are, comics don't seem to understand, like, if you do stick around at a mic, it is actually better, not even so much for the other comics, but it helps keep people in the room. Because if they fucking keep seeing comics leave, then people will follow, because it's a mental thing with people. Because like last night, I do this show, this bucket show, and I seen it last night. You have one comic who'll stick around for a little bit, then he'll leave, and then other comics are leaving the room. So essentially, if you keep doing that, you're basically saying, well, I don't give a shit about this unless I'm on stage. So why should the audience give a fuck either?
Yeah, well, no, that makes perfect sense.
I would say that on stage. I would say, I don't give a fuck about this unless I'm on stage, and fuck these other guys, and I will be leaving as soon as I'm done. Here, how about a big hand for this next guy? I'm out of here.
You'll actually get a laugh on that. That's the fucked up part.
I know.
You'll probably get a laugh on that.
I know they'll appreciate that.
He'll get a laugh, but also he'll get a laugh, but the people behind the bar who are losing customers will be spitting in his drink.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but then that's when Matt throws him off the roof.
I think, we do have to wrap this up because we have to get to the next guest and news and all that stuff. And I appreciate you being here. But I think authenticity is really important. If you're not that kind of person who really gives a fuck about the other comics, you should be open and honest about that. And I think the audience will. You know what? We talked earlier about Bill Burr. He doesn't hide the fact that he could be a cantankerous, cranky old man. And I think that the fact that he doesn't hide it is it makes it more acceptable. And Jeselnik was talking about I feel like if I come out and just be the worst person on stage, that I can get away with more, even though that's not who he is in real life. It's just like I set that up as so I think being fuck you, I don't care about them. I will get a laugh, but it also gets at least he's not yanking my chain and bullshitting me. He's being honest about it.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
Yep.
I have your Instagram handle in the link and all that stuff. Is there any other place, like a website, that we want to send people, or that's the best place?
No, Instagram would be awesome right now, and website we'll see once we can put out some longer sets and put that up.
Well, we appreciate you being here.
Awesome. I appreciate you guys having me.
Yeah, check back in. So, periodically, come back.
Absolutely,
you're fun to talk to, and I appreciate
guys. This is a lot of fun. No, thank you so much.
All right, have a great day. Thanks for being
here. You too. Bye.
Oh, it's time to get to news. Even though Steven he's just bothering me. He's just bothering me. Stop bothering me. We have to get. We have to get to news, unfortunately. I have to get to news. Plus, it makes me feel like this is a real show if we do news. Like, oh, yeah, it must be a real show. They got news. A real radio show, that is. All right, news time, and then we'll recoup.
The The Israeli military intercepted a missile fired from Yemen hours after Israeli warplanes struck several targets in the Arabian Peninsula country.
The Israeli airstrikes in response to a deadly Houthi drone strike on Tel Aviv marked the first time Israel has responded to repeated Houthi attacks during its 9-month war against Hamas. The violence threatens to open a new front as Israel battles Iranian proxies across the region. Joseph Eckerson reporting.
Russia reported scrambling fighter jets to intercept 2 U.S. military long-range bomber aircraft approaching the Russian border over the Barents Sea in the Arctic.
The crews of the Russian fighters identified the aerial target as a pair of U.S. Air Force B-52H strategic bombers, Moscow's defense ministry wrote on Telegram, specifying that MiG-29 and MiG-31 fighters were scrambled. Russia has increased military operations in the Arctic, including advanced hypersonic missile tests. Liam White reporting.
Vice President Harris announced her intention to earn and win the Democratic presidential nomination after President Biden endorsed her following his decision to bow out of the 2024 presidential race.
I am honored to have the president's endorsement, and my intention is to earn and win this nomination, she stated. Over the past year, I have traveled across the country, talking with Americans about the clear choice in this momentous election. Harris also praised Mr. Biden for his public service career. Jessica Oakley reporting.
World leaders are reacting to President Biden's decision not to seek re-election, discussing their relationships with him and offering thoughts on his choice.
UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer said, "I respect President Biden's decision and look forward to working together during the remainder of his presidency." Czech Prime Minister Peter Fiala also highlighted the difficulty of the president's decision, stating, "It is undoubtedly the decision of a statesman who has served his country for decades." Benjamin Wright reporting.
Let's have some shitty music in between news. Al. Fake Al.
Pope Francis expressed hope that the Paris Olympic and Paralympic Games will provide an opportunity for countries at war to respect an ancient Greek tradition and establish a truce during the Games.
According to ancient tradition, may the Olympics be an opportunity to establish a truce in wars, demonstrating a sincere will for peace, Francis said during his Angelus prayer in St. Peter's Square. The Pope emphasized that sport also has a great social power, capable of peacefully uniting people from different cultures.
How about
Jimmy
this?
Kender reporting.
A woman was stabbed inside a terminal at Miami International Airport late Saturday, sending her to the hospital in critical condition and prompting a service disruption, police and airport officials said.
An adult male suspect was arrested at the scene, the Miami-Dade Police Department reported. The woman was attacked around 11:30 p.m. in the upper level of Terminal J in the International Arrivals Hall, police said. The situation was swiftly contained, airport officials stated. Kyle Norris reporting.
Half of the deaths attributed to the storm in Harris County, where Houston is located, were heat-related, according to the Harris County Institute of Forensic Sciences.
Lara Anton, spokesperson for the Texas Department of State Health Services, which uses death certificate data to identify storm-related deaths, estimated that even a preliminary count may not be available until the end of July. Wade Addison reporting.
9 people were shot, 3 fatally when multiple gunmen opened fire early Sunday at a party in Philadelphia, authorities said.
The mass shooting occurred around 2 a.m. on the 1200 block of North Alden Street in the Carroll Park neighborhood of West Philadelphia, where a party attended by more than 100 people was taking place, according to the Philadelphia Police Department. Lawrence Keller reporting.
And that's the latest news headlines with Alan Edwards.
Lawrence. Boy. Wow. She got stabbed. Didn't say why she was stabbed. Was this a random stabbing? Somebody just going around stabbing random women, and why pick her out? You never get the details with these.
It sounds like a couple of guys at a bar, almost. And a guy says, "I like her." He says, "You think she go off me?" Guy goes, "Oh, take a stab at it." And he just didn't understand. That's why we go out with him.
Maybe she stole somebody's power cord. I just think.
I was about to say that.
Yeah. While we have a moment, we're awaiting our next guest, who I'm gonna Rianita Malhotra Hora. You remember her?
Yeah,
kinda. I know, me too. Kind of.
The Vermilion thing.
Vermilion Harvard. I think she's in Tirana too.
You mean they have a sister city, Tirana too?
Yeah, it's the sequel.
Okay. I wonder how much that sequel.
A remake of Toronto.
I don't know
Toronto
how much
too.
that one's going to make. Yeah. We'll have to ask Ron in his next showbiz bit.
So I'll just ask about comedy clubs in Toronto. The same exact questions we just asked. Just rerun that. I'll just take a break. But yeah, no, we'll push the book. Are you guys up on the conspiracy theories about Biden already being dead?
Oh yeah, I've been seeing it for 2 fucking days. It's oh my god.
I like it.
I gotta say,
I
gotta say the one conspiracy theory and the proof that was provided was convincing-ish about Biden being dead, and he called into the headquarters. What was it? DNC headquarters or wherever he called into. And Kamala said, "It's good to hear your voice over the on the phone call." And I was like, "Ooh,
yeah.
Kamala slipped." So I don't know. I don't know if he's dead. I don't know, but
I'm not sure you're not dead.
I might be.
You might be.
Might be. This could all just be a chronic figment in my last 3 seconds of life.
My wife says there's a deep fake picture of Doug Emhoff. That's her husband, for those of you who don't know. Only they superimposed Epstein's face on Doug Emhoff's body so that it looks like Epstein is hanging out with Kamala Harris.
Be surprised?
Yeah, because he's dead, isn't he?
No, I'm talking about in the past. She's not Lincoln's wife. She's not doing seances in the White House, bro.
I would be surprised because being a prosecutor, I could see Epstein hanging out with prosecutors.
Prosecutor?
No, prosecutors in Florida. I could see that because a lot of the prosecutors in Florida were giving Epstein a break. That's how he got off for so long. But
not a lot. Just one, Alex Acosta.
Well, that's all it takes, right? The one that's in your district.
Yeah, that's not a lot. That's one. One is not a lot.
100% of the ones in his. That's 100%.
I mean, Terrence.
Yeah.
One time. 100%. How many do I have?
100%.
2.
That's all of them.
2.
Yeah. Somebody, a friend of mine, posted on Facebook that we have to, just because you disagree with somebody doesn't mean you have to shame them or humiliate them. And I'm like, I disagree. Listen, there are things that you can let go, opinions and stuff like that. But this idea of flat Earth or 1 × 1 = 2, those people need to be shamed. If you totally reject kindergarten math, if you totally reject basic science, I'm sorry, you do need to be shamed on that. Like Candace Owen coming out and saying she rejects the dogma of science. She's off the dogma of science, the cult of science. It's silly. I mean, and those people definitely do need to be shamed. I'm sorry, Mike. Sorry to disagree with you, but I think you do it to yourself. I don't think we're doing that to you. I mean, this is the point I was making to Chelsea this morning. People who willfully give up their own mind to a talking head on television, whether it's Sean Hannity or whether it's Anderson Cooper or whatever, or Rachel Maddow, or if you really give your own mind to other people.
Rachel Maddow. Rachel Maddow's a saint. Saint Maddow. You don't talk about her.
You leave that frumpy lesbian alone.
You keep my news person's name out of your mouth.
You see what I mean about people who, this is what I mean, people who willfully give up their own mind to talking. They deserve to be shamed. Like CD deserves to be shamed right now. But
keep
that's not
Rachel's
me.
name out of your mouth.
Shame.
Fuck you. Fuck you. That's what I said. In case you didn't hear me, I didn't say it loud enough.
He said, kindly go fuck yourself, sir.
So are you guys, are you psyched about going up to Tirana and performing at open mics that are filled with audiences? No.
Is Toronto on the West Coast?
Sure.
Because that's where I'm going to be.
No.
Is it near Vancouver?
It's
I'm going into Vancouver.
If you take where you are in Shittysburg, Maryland, and draw a straight line up towards the North Pole, you just follow that up. It's not that far either. Straight line up from Shittysburg.
Follow the Underground Railroad and turn right.
There's an above ground railroad once you get that far north.
I think there's a
okay.
little bit of a lake in the way.
Ooh, you can't swim though, can you?
No.
I can swim.
Oh, okay. Then you're fine.
The Edmonds Fitzgerald is now boarding passengers. No, that wasn't for Toronto, right? I don't know. That was like Lake Michigan, not whatever. No, that was Lake Superior. Lake Superior said never gives up its dead. Anyway, so you don't have any interest in going to Toronto?
I do, but not today.
I have a show that I could do in Vancouver. I just need a passport.
Vancouver is far.
My passport?
Yes. What?
Vancouver is a whole other.
Yeah.
It's a whole other Canada. It's like
Yeah.
that's a part of Canada even Canada doesn't relate to. I mean, there are. I know a couple. I don't know, but I've talked to a few BC based comedians. It's like a whole other country within a country.
Their number one export was Tommy Chong. Right?
Maybe, I guess, yeah.
We have another no show.
No, she's definitely going to show. I think she's definitely going to show up. She wrote to me at 4:00 this morning. Oh, you know what? I'll check my email. You guys talk for a minute. Let me.
So I have to bounce out of here at 11:15.
Why don't you just straight in front instead of backing out?
He said bounce. He was going to bounce out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Across the jaw being a view.
Oh no, she's not going to be here. That's it. We have a note. This is my fuck up, not the guest fuck up this time, because I sent her a thing saying 9:15. But I had her scheduled for 10:15. In other words, Matt is a fuck up, so we have no guests this hour. So, all right, let's just see Mike Savola.
Did a cow shit in here?
No, the basic theme of this next hour will be Mike Savola, shameful or not. Talk amongst yourself.
No, I'm not going to pick on Mike. That's not my vibe, man.
You fucking. I'm sorry. Did you see the Biden AI thing that I sent you guys on?
Yeah.
That F word that he uses in there. That's what I wanted to call you just then, but I don't know.
That?
No. What? I can't play the
Fabulous.
clip because it rhymes with maggot.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yes. That's what I wanted to call
there's no other words that rhyme with that besides the actual word.
Now, people have said that word before.
Gag it. Saget.
Bob Saget.
Yeah, Saget.
So GD, I do get picked on. So GD, I do get picked on. So GD, I do get picked on. So GD. What?
So goddamn, I do get picked on. Thank you. He's appreciative.
I think he misspelled my website, So GD Funny. I think he was trying to write So GD Funny, but he wrote So GI, and then auto-corrected the rest. I'm with you, Mike. I hate autocorrect. It just changes the whole context of what you're trying to say.
Auto-erect. Auto-erect. So you're going to Alaska. When are you leaving? Like now?
No, really, really early Friday morning.
Early Friday. Now, what's the route? What's the route? Are you flying to Vancouver first?
Flying into Seattle. We're doing one night there, and I think I'm not sure if the Reverend's doing a show that night or if it's me. So we can check Washington off the list.
Seattle?
Yeah.
Or Tacoma? Because
Seattle. Seattle.
And
then the next morning, that's when we board the ship and we sail up to the Vancouverites, and then we sail up to the Alaskaites.
Okay.
I think.
Do you know the name of the club that you're at in Washington, in Seattle, in Seattle Slough?
Green something. I wrote it down.
Green something.
Yeah,
because it's not
a comedy club. It's not a comedy club. I couldn't get on any of the comedy clubs, so it's like a.
Wow. Why? Is that because you're black?
No, it's because Ron actually told them about me, and they like no.
Oh no, yeah, I could see that. I wouldn't.
Yeah, actually, because what I did was I made the mistake of putting Ron down as a reference, and so they reached out to Ron. I sent him a video and a reference. I said I work with Ron on a regular basis. Ron's a world famous touring comic.
I'm a little hurt. Why did you not list me as a reference? I would take that phone call in a heartbeat.
You're not in the comedy business, and Ron.
I am.
Ron
I am the king of the comedy business. I am the dictator of the comedy business. I am.
No,
oh look,
Matt,
big Ron
Matt. Look, I have mad respect for what you've done for other comedians, and if I ever need to lose a power cord or get stuck in an airport, you're my guy. You're the one I will call. If I ever need to take pictures of myself outside of the Amityville Horror House, you're the guy. I will call you first and second. Matter of fact, I will call you first, second, and third.
I almost called you, Matt, when they lost my wheelchair at the airport, but they found it. So.
Yeah, but on the West Coast, I needed a reference. I used Ron, and Ron said, "Don't hire that fucking nigga." That's what Ron said. So
can't believe I forked up this morning, but hey,
we're not on Govs, right?
Nope, Govs is still on.
Oh, fuck. I looked at the clock and I said, "Yeah, I can say it now, but I can't." Govs, I apologize. That was my fault. No one.
He's doing the Terrence Howard version of checking the time. It's 10:21, but in his head it's 10:51.
No, I read it from right. I read it in Jewish. I read it from right to left, and so my clock says it's 12:01. So I was reading.
Jewish is the way you say that.
Yeah, Hebrew. I was using my Hebrew clock, and it was 12:01. I can say it. It's after 12. I can say it.
No, do they use sundials? Maybe it's all Greek to me. I don't know. Yeah, so you know what, Ron? Have you ever performed in Washington State?
No, not yet. I'm going to Oregon though in October.
Big difference between
Ron and I have a competition that really doesn't exist because Ron isn't competing, but I am, and that's who can hit 50 states first. And Ron is got 30 or 40 under his belt, and I'm like stuck at 17 or 16 or 17, and so I have to catch Ron before I die, otherwise And the other competition is to see who can have sex with their wife in the most states. And
I think I've had sex with your wife in more states. Now, competition on the competition note. You catch in the news the Pope wants people to put your war on pause while we have this little.
Well, it would be odd if he come out and say, "Hey, can you finish up that genocide before the Olympic Games?"
Israel, hurry up! We got games to play.
Yeah.
Well, if nothing else, there won't be any roast battles during the Olympics, so they could all.
Notice he didn't stop saying, "Stop raping little boys" while the games are going on.
No, that's half the game.
Stop murdering.
That's the whole point of going to Paris.
Well, at least to the Vatican.
Yeah, what goes in Paris stays in Paris until you pull out.
The first real terrorist incident that I recall in my lifetime, the one that I was aware of, was Munich, the Olympic Games in '72. So you know what? I think the Pope is probably not a good student of history. But I don't think anybody is saying, well, we're going to stop killing each other just so we can play basketball or swim or whatever.
Skateboarding's coming. Hurry up. Stop the genocide.
I will say that this is the least hype the Olympics have ever gotten because of all the fucking insanity we have in the news cycle lately, that nobody has really talked about the Olympics. I hadn't even heard it mentioned until the news this morning. You guys,
except for the channel that's carrying the Olympics, they were probably pushing it all the time.
Which channel is that?
Is that
NBC? Is it NBC? It always has been NBC in the past. Yeah. I don't watch television, so I wouldn't know. Are they? Do you guys watch television? You're television freaks. Freaks. Have they been pushing it? The commercials and stuff about.
I don't have regular TV.
I've been
Oh
seeing.
yeah, they're pushing it hard because it's NBC Universal, so they have like people from Saturday Night Live doing shows and podcasts about the Olympics and things like that.
And isn't Telemundo part of the Universal family?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think
I think Universal has like 20 channels to push.
Hola, no más Olympics.
No la. Who do we have any like? I don't know, big stars that we're looking at. You guys, are you familiar? Are you up?
Big again?
No,
I'm not going to be watching the Olympics. I'm not going to be watching the Olympics. But
I think the only big stars that I've heard of have been the basketball stars, the NBA.
Now,
players.
does the NBA still send like a dream, like a pro team to play in amateur sports?
Well, everybody sends pro teams now. That was the thing. I think the U.S. was the only country for a while that wasn't sending pros, and we were getting our asses handed to us by like the Russian pros and the Italian pros, and so
wasn't it the 90s when we started sending the pros?
Yeah, I think we started sending our dream teams over, and then after that, it was like, just give us the gold now.
Yeah, yeah, especially when it first started, when Jordan was playing, and they were
Barkley.
They were just putting up like 60, 70 points on the other teams.
You know the U.S. Olympic dream team basketball team with Jordan and Barkley and all them, and Karl Malone. That whole collection of uniforms from that team just sold for like $6 million.
That's not a lot.
And Michael Jordan probably bought it. Michael Jordan probably bought them.
But now,
go ahead.
I'm
surprised.
surprised.
But now basketball is actually competitive though in the Olympics because a lot the other countries have caught up, and hell, some of those players are playing in the NBA as well too.
So is the pro stuff limited to basketball or like the other sports too? Like
skateboarding.
We send,
there's
skateboarding, snowboarding, skiing, hockey,
football,
beach volleyball
team, the Olympic
beach
football
volleyball,
team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
And
Do you care?
Table tennis.
And I think in this is for the winter games, the triathlons where they have the skiing, shooting, and thing. I think we send our best snipers over there.
And there's no, I don't think there's really any star this year for the swim team because the past couple of years, Olympics, you had Phelps and that the other guy that wasn't very smart, Ryan something.
Yeah,
Seacrest. Yeah.
Seacrest.
Oh, you know what? Speaking of douchebags. You see that Ryan Seacrest is now fucking hosting Wheel of Fortune?
Yeah,
I knew about that.
Just guest hosting.
But it's not working out, right? They don't. The fans don't like him, right, or something.
No. I guess so. But like, go fuck yourself, Ryan Seacrest. I mean, and go fuck yourself, Hollywood, because there are more people than that fucking bleached, empty-headed moron. I mean, Christ.
Yeah, at least he didn't
so
take Nick
sanitized. Like, I'm Ryan Seacrest. It's like, go hang yourself first.
Seacrest.
Shaquille O'Neal is doing hosting a game show. I have to. Yeah.
Oh, what is this?
What is what?
Want to see her naked?
We can't see her now.
Wait.
Why would we? No, you don't send us a text. It's like, what is that? Her Strawberry?
Who is her?
I don't know who her is, but yes,
it's obvious. It's vi.va.
It's Viva. That makes sense.
Viva C6. What would happen if I saw her naked? Would she have something different than the billion other women I've seen naked?
Yes, she'll have a dick,
and she would charge you more.
And whip out a 19-inch fucking rod.
And who doesn't like nakedness?
I don't. There's good naked and there's bad
naked.
I hate to go back to a Jerry Seinfeld.
No, I'm talking about women. I don't know what you guys are into.
There's definitely bad naked with women. Are you kidding me?
Women. Yeah, definitely bad naked.
Oh God.
Ron, have you ever been to a nude beach?
Oh yeah. No, I've seen I've seen horrific things. But
have you ever been to Indiana?
Yeah, I've driven
that's
through that.
most of Indiana.
Yeah, I've driven through that sorry state. I hate it so much.
Try living here.
Did you?
No, I can imagine.
Have you ever seen a woman? Now, this is maybe you probably have, and I'm just because I'm going back 45 years now. Seen a woman smoke a cigarette with her vagina?
Yeah.
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 That's old.
I've seen a woman take a watermelon in her.
No, I mean, blow smoke rings and stuff with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. The worst part though is when her vagina starts coughing, like.
Oh, that flip.
Why does your vagina smell like my grandpa's house? What is happening right now?
Go haktua.
Yeah.
Especially the asthmatic ones when they have to put the little asthma thing.
You want to go down on her, but she's like, "Here, take this inhaler. You're gonna need it."
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, we've driven this
coffee with the dog.
We've driven this into a ditch fairly early today, ahead of schedule. The train is running ahead of schedule.
I beat that clip for you, Matt, because I know you'd want to go back to it.
Yeah. Does this marketing ploy actually work? I mean, are you getting views?
It's Twitch, so there's a bunch of losers on there that are playing video games that really want to see someone naked. So it probably works on Twitch.
It's unusual.
They also get mad at those women though too, and harass some of those women that are female gamers because they're not getting naked or I don't know, doing whatever those nerds want.
Now,
if I want to watch a chick play video games, I want to see her tits.
Some celebrity woman.
I'm sorry, Steven,
yesterday.
do you realize your child is behind your head?
Don't ever interrupt me when I'm interrupting you.
Hey.
So I got to figure out.
You got headphones. It's okay.
Some Hollywood celeb there was under fire yesterday for admitting that her 13-year-old son is editing all the content on her OnlyFans page.
That's fucking gross.
That's kind of weird, right? I mean,
fucking weird and gross.
Well, how technically good is her son? I mean, if he's really good, then yeah, you save money. But if he's awful at it, now it's perverted.
The idea of seeing mom naked, it's just no young. I can't imagine unless I don't know, unless you're really a freak.
Yeah, I can see her walking in while he's editing, and he's like, "What the fuck are you doing? That last video you put up, there's so many vagina shots."
Yeah,
Mom, I told you not to use the black one. We get less views with that.
Even if your mom is really hot, you don't want to see that. I think, and I'm from a whole other planet Earth, where planet Earth was a different place when I was there. But in my frame of reference, seeing mom naked, no, I don't care if she's fucking Raquel Welch, which is another reference from the planet I came from. It's just not. Don't want to think of mom in those terms. You want to think of mom in like kind of an asexual. She's a tree.
No.
A rock.
For some of us, it's too late to take that attitude because we know the truth. So I can't go back and unsee and unhear the things that I've seen and heard. I just had to learn to live with them.
Yeah.
But
Breaking
I will
news.
not edit. But I would not edit her videos. That's for damn sure.
Breaking news: the Secret Service director Kimberly Cheadle has resigned this morning after being grilled by Congress yesterday.
Yeah. No one's seen that coming.
Not even a little bit.
Well, she was extremely defiant that she wasn't going to give up without being fired. So they let her resign. I would have just said, "You're fired, dude."
Yeah, I don't get that either. The way that everyone made it sound on the, when she was in front of Congress, it just didn't make any sense. Like, why does she still have a job? Period.
Just watching that yesterday, she refused to answer the simplest questions. One question that was posed to her: if everybody in America had, now this is a ridiculous question, I agree. If everybody in America had a rocket-propelled grenade, would that make your job harder? And she refused to answer that. She couldn't answer that. She was like trying to, I don't know, it feels like not a trick question.
No, yeah, but what do we expect? Because when you get to that level, that's the way it is. if you've ever seen the documentaries about 3 Mile Island, when the plant was melting down, there's all sorts of shit happening, and like stuff started leaking. And the governor of Pennsylvania at the time turns to the CEO of MedEd, or the electric company, and he said, why didn't you tell us about this? And his response was, you didn't ask.
Yeah.
And so this is just common shit, and they don't fire these people. They let them resign so they can get a job in the private sector. And she'll land on her feet at some corporation making a shit ton of money, and then she won't have to answer for shit like this.
She'll probably
I can't imagine anybody
firm.
hiring her.
She'll start her own security firm.
Oh, they'll hire her. Yeah, they'll hire her.
She'll go back to guarding Doritos.
Only if they did not see that hearing yesterday. I mean, or if they get a chance to look at that. I can't imagine, because I've seen a lot of fucking lame and incredible shit. That was the most embarrassing thing on all levels, that even, people who hate each other were in full agreement that this was an incompetent person who needs to go immediately. You don't see that in Congress ever.
It was weird seeing someone like AOC and some of them, the super anti-Trumpers who are like, this guy almost got assassinated. That's not okay. He's still an ex-president. He's still running for office. We can't have this. I was like, hey, good on you.
But also the fact that she was willing to give more information to the Sunday news interviews that she did than she was to Congress. Like, why?
Sunday news, you're not under oath. In Congress, you're under oath. And so her lawyer probably said, you can lie to the newspapers. You can't lie to Congress and get away with it. So you just not know anything.
I don't see where she was what she was doing. Just because most of the questions that were asked, I don't think would have damned her in any way. In fact, a lot of them were just like, show us some remorse, show us some accountability. And she just had none of it. She was just up there, just not answering questions and being aloof.
Is this and I think it is a Lee Harvey Oswald type of thing, that we will never really know the full truth on this thing, or because none of it really makes any sense at all on how it was allowed to happen, what really happened. We still have not heard from the doctors who treated Trump that day right after the event. None of it is coming clean, and I don't think, if it were 12 days or 10 days away, whatever the fuck we are from it, we have no real solid answers. It feels like 50 years from now, people, and of course I'll be dead 50 days from now, 50 minutes from now, 50 seconds from now. We'll never know the truth. Do you believe? Do you think so? We'll never know.
I don't think we'll ever know the truth. No, the conspiracies alone have clouded up the waters quite a bit. But then on top of it, when you have the Secret Service not giving any answers, you don't have any health professionals giving any answers. We're not going to get any answers. Even people that were there don't have any answers. Like,
yeah, well, I haven't done that voice in a while, and I want to talk about it. RFQ went on with Chris Cuomo, yes, and denied what was plain to see on that videotape of him talking to Trump, that Trump offered him a job, and he said, we will. And when Trump said we will win, he agreed with him. We, not I, not you, we will win. He was denying that completely, up and down, swore up and down that it never happened. The tape is there. You released the tape.
Classic RFK.
I think he's taking a book, a play from Trump's book, is just deny. Your people will believe whatever you say, no matter what, and so you can just lie your way out of anything, despite there being physical evidence for people who can see with their own eyes and hear with their own ears. It's just bizarre that he would take that tack, and he still says he's in it to win it. And I'm the only guy who can beat Trump and all this stuff. It's just like it's painful to watch. You just want to jump through the screen and fucking choke him. I'm just speaking from my own experience.
Well, he may be the only man that can beat Trump, but there's a woman in the race also, and I think she could beat Trump.
You think Kamala has a chance?
I do have showbiz news
yeah.
if you want to do that.
We'll get to it in just 2 seconds because now Gigi just opened up that can of worms. Okay, we can close that can of worms now.
The worms are trying to sleep. Close the can.
I have not seen the Democratic Party this energized since Barack Obama won the nomination. They definitely seem to be invigorated by the prospect of her winning. Here's one thing I want to bring up that I haven't heard anybody talk about. On January 20th, 2025, the election will need to be certified. And this is the first time in history that one of the person who needs to certify the election is going to be one of the candidates running. Now, if she wins, she's going to be certifying her own victory. If she loses, she will be compelled to certify her own loss. Yeah. That is a unique, and nobody's talking about that. That, you know.
What about Gore? Wasn't Gore vice president wasn't he the vice president to Clinton when he lost to Bush?
Yeah, but the Supreme Court certified his loss.
He didn't have to.
He didn't. It went months beyond, way beyond January 20th. Not way beyond January 20th, way beyond the certification date, way January 6th or whatever. The Supreme Court decided that the hanging Chad thing, and so I
thought they decided that in like 9 days. Didn't they do that like really quick because they wanted to? I thought they did like really quick for the Supreme Court, and then
maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you could be right about that. Check it. Fact check me on that. I think
Stephen,
what you're saying rings true.
You're on it, Stephen. Right. Put Ron on it. Delegate.
So then I'm wrong. Then that would be maybe there are other cases that I'm overlooking where one of the participants had to certify either way. But given the Supreme Court's decision that the president has immunity. Now, I don't know if that extends to the vice president, but it's not the same case as like when Pence had to do it and basically certify for Trump and his refusal to certify refusal to refuse certification ended up with Trump sending a lynch mob after him. I don't know if we're at that point. But to Ron's point yesterday, I've heard lots of people say we have to win by a landslide. We have to win by a landslide. Keep in mind that Biden won by almost 11 million votes. What does that landslide constitute in your mind?
Yeah, is
it 20 million?
No, people have redefined what landslide is. I take that back. Not people. When Trump won, he had 306 electoral votes, and he called it a landslide. He called that a landslide, even though he lost a popular vote by 4 or 5 million. He called it a landslide. And so when Biden got the same number of electoral votes, just to rub it in their face, they said Biden won by a landslide.
Right.
And he also won the popular vote. So
by 11 million, almost 11 million, 10.5 million.
So,
votes.
But a landslide,
that is a real landslide. Though.
Yeah, the landslide used to be totally different back then. But Trump, Trump claims, I'm the only one, I'm the best. No one's less racist than I am. Whatever it is, Trump is like the most or the least at it.
Nobody until Biden had ever won by that number in the popular vote before. So that is the ultimate landslide. And they rejected that one. How much does it have to be? Give me a number. How much does the landslide have to be by for you to think there's going to be peace in America? Or we'll get back to some sense of normalcy. 20 million?
No,
50 million?
30 million.
There is no acceptable number that we can reach that where the side that lost, if they're Republicans, and hopefully they would call it a landslide. There's no
I agree.
acceptable number.
I agree. I think Ron disagrees, though, according to what we discussed yesterday. Yes, Ron.
Yeah.
What's the number?
The number?
Yeah, is it 15 million? Is it 20 million? Is it how many? 50 million?
I don't think there's any certain number. It just and the number needs to be big no matter what. And I think it will be.
Can't they just use a bigger font? Just use a bigger font, like 44 point or 130 point. So that way, like a really big number, right? Just like that.
Yeah.
But I'm confused here. You're saying it needs for what purpose? For them to accept the law, because 11 million, almost 11 million, was not enough.
No, it's not. It's not for them. They're never going to accept it. I mean, they're never going to accept it. But for like just general population, I think it just needs to be a big number. But I mean, in that circle, they think it's okay to make out with a dead firefighter's coat and helmet. So
I get it, but the reason we were discussing it was because my contention that there will be violence. There will be violence either way, but I think there will be violence more rapidly, more expediently if Trump loses than if he wins. I do think that even if he wins, there will be violence, because you can't take people's rights away from them wholesale and not expect them to revolt on some violent level eventually. I just don't think.
And he still has his base, but too, he's not the sitting president this time either.
That's true. But
so that makes a little bit of a difference, I think, in the general scheme of things, because it's one thing to be sitting in the office and sitting there yelling, "This is scam, go fight," and yelling it from outside of the office around the fence, like.
Yeah. The other part of this is with no matter what happens, I think in the results of the election, I would think that on certification day, January 6th, I don't know if it's going to be the 6th or 5th or whatever date it is this year in 2025.
I think it has to be January 6th.
It does, but I think unless it falls on a weekend, right? Like a Sunday or something, I don't know, whatever. If it's January 6th, whatever the date is, I think there has to be like a complete shutdown of the area around the Capitol by the National Guard. They need to be there in advance of the certification, no matter who wins.
And I think they will be this time. I think this time when the certification comes through, DC is going to look a lot different, because I think everyone's going to be like, we're not. Yeah, the people are going to be like, we ain't dealing with this shit again, because people live in DC. So the people that live in DC, they're like, we don't want this shit again. Do what you got to do.
Right. Well, that's not, and this is the least, I guess, of the concerns here. That's not a good look for world coverage of the poster child for democracy.
It may not, but for this, at this point in time,
it's absolutely necessary.
Yeah. At this point in time, it's necessary.
Yeah. And one of the things is, I remember I used to be on a conservative radio station out of Nevada. Back at the time of the January 6th, at that time, back then, I was on a conservative radio station. And I remember after the riots, the fencing went up around the White House, and they were complaining that this is the people's house. Why is there a fence around the White House? This is the people's house. Like, you fucking idiots. You're the reason why there's extra security around the White House.
Yeah. All right. It's time for showbiz. I wonder what's in showbiz. Yeah, you want to guess what Ron's going to talk about? He's going to talk about that woman who's having a 13-year-old boy do her OnlyFans page, right? Anyways, showbiz.
And now, bringing you the latest in entertainment news from Hollywood, New York, and East Bumfuck, Montana. Here's our chief entertainment correspondent, Ron Kane. Ladies and gentlemen, it's showbiz. Showbiz.
All right, we got some guy I don't know.
Chris Brown.
Yeah, good call, Steven. The boomers on the show don't see it, so
Jeez, I know.
I know the name. I didn't recognize him without Brianna being on his hand.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's harder to recognize without a face print on his hand.
Don't make me smack you like you're my bitch.
Whoa, deal.
So Chris Brown and his entourage are being sued for $50 million because apparently they roughed up some people backstage, like fans. They roughed they roughed some fans up, so now they are being sued. And Chris Brown and hitting people, it seems to go together, I guess.
I'm surprised this guy even still has a career. I hadn't heard about him, whenever that was, like way back when. I'm surprised he's still like a thing. Like,
yeah, he is. He actually has some hits on the charts, and he's been, yeah.
He's one of those monsters, man. Like he's got a picture of a beat up Rihanna on his neck. Like he's not a good person. He's really not.
Yeah, and I think like 6 months or like a year ago, I remember reading something where he was complaining. It's like people still won't let that Rihanna shit go.
Well, look at your fucking neck, you retard. You have a picture of her beat up on your neck. Duh.
It just surprises me that these guys continue to get girlfriends after they have a history of and there are women who will actually seek that out. It's just crazy. You know what? I need a guy to beat me.
I reached out to Dana White for comment about this, and all he could say was,
actually, right after he sent that, he actually sent a quote saying that Chris Brown will actually be making his slap fighting debut shortly. So
that makes sense.
All right,
but not during the Paris Olympics, right? It'll be afterwards.
Actually, it's the Paralympic slap fighting. Mike Chavola is his sponsor. Go on.
This is an interesting image we're looking at here.
Is this a remake of It?
No, this is a set photo from the upcoming movie Terrifier 3. 4 pictures were released yesterday of the sequel. This is coming off of the strength of a Terrifier 2, which was a cult hit. It's out there streaming. It's a slasher. It's a slasher film about Art the Clown. If you haven't seen it, and if you like horror movies, it's not bad at all. Have you seen it, Stephen?
I've not. I'm
wake up, Stephen.
I'm not a fan of horror movies. So
you watch porn. How could you not like horror movies?
I don't actually watch a lot of porn either, to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm. To be dishonest with you.
But you like horror movies.
You forgot to say this when you said.
No, I don't. I don't watch a lot of porn. I have a hot wife. I don't need it.
And to be fair to Steven, it's not easy for him to get the belt around his neck and put it on the chair.
It's not. It's usually a little too high for me. So
I can't reach the top of that door. Help me.
I've never heard of this movie, the first one or the second one, and definitely not the third one.
I've never heard of you. Has anybody ever heard of you? You haven't even heard of you.
No. I'm gonna Google me when I'm done.
All right.
Yeah. So that's out or coming out, and here we go. Kyle Glass.
Yeah.
More Kyle Glass news. Apparently, his agent has dropped him now because of this fucking joke, and actually, I think it is a joke what is happening to him. I mean, it's his fucking opinion. He did, to me, in my eyes, he really didn't say anything that bad. You may not agree with it, but that's called, freedom of speech. And it was in fucking Australia. I mean, Australia is a country founded by felons for felons. What do you fucking care?
I think it's also kind of fucking nuts when you have some performers who go on stage with like replicas of Trump and behead him or beat him up, or they have graphics showing a Trump lookalike getting beat up or whatever, and that's fine. But he made a joke and he's lost everything.
Yeah, and Ted Nugent has done shit like that where he's putting effigies up and like shooting them with his bow because his career ended 20 years ago and he can't let go. So
when you say lost everything, what does that entail?
That shirt, go on.
He's potentially losing.
He still has his house. He still has his bank account.
He lost his waistline. Look at that, man. He doesn't have his waistline anymore. They took it.
Yeah, but I don't know I don't know if KG's like loaded like that though. I feel like this is gonna hurt him pretty bad.
All right. Now he
Kevin
did take down
Garnett's
his
involved too.
what?
He said KG. KG is Kevin Garnett. Everybody knows that.
Oh, I did not know that, but I don't care.
Everybody knows that.
He did take down his apology off his social media stuff yesterday. Now, if you guys were if you cared about me at all, which obviously you don't,
we don't.
You would have figured a way to reach out to him and beg him to get him to come on this program and talk about it. But no, you don't. You don't care about me. You don't care about the show. You don't care about. You don't care if I live or die.
I think what's going to happen. He's going to go underground. You won't see him for a few months.
That's why he'd be good to get on this show, because this is underground. Nobody hears it. Nobody knows about it.
Then, depending on how the election turns out, he comes out.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, Kyle. Like I said, Kyle Gass's net worth is only $3 million.
Oh,
does he have a Facebook presence? Because I'll reach out to him on Facebook.
I don't think he has much. I think he's on Twitter, maybe Instagram.
No, that gets me no.
Yeah, it just the whole thing just feels shitty, and especially what Jack Black did to him, and it wasn't. Yeah, it wasn't that bad. I mean, Dana White is still fucking walking around and fucking making speeches, and he's on video slapping his fucking wife. I think that's a little worse than saying, "Oh, this is my opinion on something." So.
And people have made those kind of jokes forever. I mean, look at Kathy Griffin. She held up the beheaded Trump. She still makes money. I mean,
but she lost her job. What was it, at Bravo, where she had a show.
Ian's point is good about him is that the draw. It's not like he can go. He could go out and work by himself. He could work clubs and stuff. He's not going to go work arenas at all without Jack Black. Jack Black was the draw, right? So
yeah,
he's not going to work on that level. But he doesn't have to stop working. He's by far the better musician of the two. Now Jack is a great singer and whatever and performer, but this guy's really good. He's really good.
What do you think? Do you think these two will reconcile here in the future?
Well, I don't know that they haven't reconciled, and that he didn't decide to take the fall. And Jack Black is saying, "Don't worry about it. I'll feed you some do re mi on the side. Let's just wait till it help this thing blow over," knowing that Jack Black is the draw. I don't know that. We don't know that not to be true. Could be.
Yeah, true. In other music news, Forbes has officially listed Bruce Springsteen as a billionaire.
Okay. I'm not surprised.
I guess it's official.
Didn't he sell it?
I assumed he was one years ago.
Yeah, didn't he sell his catalog within the last couple of years or something? Or maybe I'm wrong about that. I know Dylan did.
He did just sell his catalog, so maybe that's why he's in billionaire status. Because that was just like a year ago, not even he sold it.
Right.
So he's a billionaire.
I'm just curious. Do you know if that that includes songs that he hasn't written yet? Like if he writes a new song tomorrow, does that have to go into the catalog?
No, I don't believe it does. I think he just sold all his old works, everything that's really worth money.
Right.
So basically he sold, but he can still perform them. He can still perform his songs. He just sold the rights to someone else. And
he probably gets a cut maybe, or his family gets. I think he just took the huge cash lump sum they gave him, which was
like 450 million or something, or 500 million, something like that. So that would put you close. I'm surprised that it took that long to get it to be $1 billion. I was looking up the other day top earners, and I came across one page. Forbes listed the top earners in entertainment for 2023, and I was blown away by the top names on there. They're not who you would think they would be. Genesis was the top earner in 2023.
I would instantly have gone to Beyonce or Taylor Swift.
Yeah, me too. That's what I was expecting.
Wait, Genesis?
In 2023. In 2023, that was the number one. I could pull it up again.
Are they on a soundtrack or something? Is that why they got big last year again, or what happened?
They're doing private tours over in Europe.
Well, Phil Collins has been showing up here and there, but he's like
dead. He's close to death.
Yeah, he's got like bad health issues and shit though, doesn't like bad back or I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I think he's close to death. I mean, from what because I put out a Phil Collins reel. Now, highest paid actors, but where's this Forbes highest paid? I want to see best entertainment. Go ahead, continue. I'll look it up while you're talking.
Okay. Yeah, I was actually just looking up Phil Collins's net worth of this year is $300 million.
Wow.
And he is 73 years old.
Oh yeah, so here it is. 5 top. Says musicians, not entertainers. It's Genesis for 2023, not 2024. This is the year that just ended. 6 months ago, 7 months ago. Genesis 230 million, Sting 210 million, Rolling Stones 98 million, Taylor Swift 92 million, Bad Bunny 88 million in 2023.
That's weird. I mean, Bad Bunny and Taylor Swift makes sense.
Yeah, Genesis being 200. I didn't even know they were still performing. Obviously, performing without Phil Collins, which makes it even less of a draw.
Is Rutherford still around? I didn't even know Rutherford was still around.
That's a good. Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, are they?
It seems like a misprint, doesn't it? Like, are you talking about the book from the Bible? I mean, what?
That's what I was about to say. It's the book from the Bible. It's not the band. Somebody's going around reciting scripture and getting paid.
I know. I was blown away by it. Like, I had to look it up like 3 different times on 3 different sites to verify. Like, what the?
Now performing Invisible Touch Revelations.
Now, Invisible Touch, the Mary story.
Whose tits am I looking at here? I got to think about it goes, right? With the tits